Hi, boys and girls. Um, yes, you have a sub today. I hope you're on your very best behavior for the sub. I'm sorry that I'm not there, but I wanted to explain an extra credit opportunity. The sub will pass out or give you at some point a piece of paper called the Tale of Five Cities. On this piece of paper, at the top, it says you are collecting data for these 5 cities. The links to use are not on my web page, that is an error. However, they are in my haiku page. And what you're seeing right now is a picture of that haiku page, and I am under the Chapter 6 tab. Okay, and there are 4 links there to use to help you complete that extra credit. Now, make a note. The link 1 and link 4 you can use on your iPad. They're accessible. However, link 2 and link 3 you must access from a desktop computer. Therefore, if you don't have a computer at home, that might be the parts that you do in Study Center or ask to visit the library, something like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with part 1. This is the latitude and longitude finder. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that link. See if I can get it to work. There we go. Okay, and I think Indianapolis is the first city listed, but I'm going to skip that one because that is a northern hemisphere city. I think you'll be fine doing that one on your own. I'm going to start with one that is a little bit more difficult perhaps. And I'm going to start with one of our southern hemisphere cities, and that's Santiago. So I'm going to type the city in this box. Now I'm going to only type Santiago and show you what happens. Okay. Notice when I scroll down, it's not Santiago, Chile. It's Santiago, Spain. So that's a problem. So I need to make sure I put the country with it as well. Now I'm going to scroll or zoom out. Yep, I'm down there in the correct spot. And you can see as I zoom out, you can see the equator, and you can see that Santiago, Chile is in the southern hemisphere below the equator. And then right here, you can see the latitude and the longitude to write down on your piece of paper. So right now, pick up your pencil. And for Santiago, Chile, the latitude is 33 degrees south. Don't worry about that 28. We're just going to make it a whole number. 33 degrees south. And it is important that you put a south. That tells us how many degrees below the equator. Remember, latitude is a horizontal imaginary line. And then for longitude, write down 70 degrees west. Okay? Okay, I'm going to go back to haiku. Now I'm going to do part 2. Once again, part 2 is one you would have to access on a desktop computer. This one, you are finding the amount of daylight hours for the cities. Okay, we now know the latitude for Santiago. So you type in the latitude here, and we said that was 33 degrees south. So I'm going to type a 33. Ah, look at the globe down here. See the yellow line? Uh-oh. That's north of the equator. So for 33 degrees south, I cannot type just a 33. That will give us the northern latitude. Here's a trick. You have to put a negative sign in front of it. Make a note of that. So when I hit it, now it pushes that latitude down into the southern hemisphere. You can kind of see on the map it crosses right where we think Santiago, Chile would be. Okay, so we have the correct latitude. And then you can kind of see some kind of wavy little line graph over here that shows us the amount of daylight hours per day for that city. Okay, so let's start with June 21st. So I'm going to drag this over to June 21st, which is in the northern hemisphere, the first day of summer. But once again, for a southern hemisphere city, that's their first day of winter. That's their winter solstice. And the amount of daylight hours to write down on your piece of paper is 9.8. Write that down. Okay, now I'm going to drag it to September 22nd, which is their spring equinox, which is our fall equinox. Remember, they are opposite. I can't seem to drag it. Hold on, let's try it again. There we go. 12 hours of daylight, which that makes sense. Whoops, I'm a little off here. That makes sense because equinox means equal amounts of night. So 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. That was to be expected. So that sounds good. And now I'm going to drag this over to December 21st, which is their first day of summer, their summer solstice. And the days get longer on that first day of summer. 14.2 hours of daylight. And then I bet you could guess what's going to happen on March 21st. We're back to an equinox day. That should be 12 hours, but yep, it is. Okay, hopefully you have that now filled in for Santiago, Chile. Okay, going back to haiku. The season simulator. This one's pretty cool. Once again, you need a desktop computer for this one. Okay, for this one, the first thing to do is to go up into the upper right-hand box up here, and you're going to see a little stick man. You must drag the stick man to the correct latitude. Now, I need to drag him down to 33 degrees south. Woo, need to go a little farther, buddy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, close enough. I'm having a hard time getting him exactly where I want him. Okay, close enough. Okay, so you can see the sunlight hitting Earth, and then down in the lower right-hand box, you can see what it looks like from Earth, what the perception would look like, the angle of that sunlight. Okay, so we have to drag it to the 4 dates that we're mostly concerned with. So now I'm going to drag Earth to June 21st. Okay, there we go. It's their first day of winter. Notice right here in that lower box, the blue picture, notice that sunlight is very angled, which is what we would expect. If you recall in class when I took the flashlight and I tilted it, this is exactly what it's like. I'm tilting that flashlight and that sunlight is spreading out over a greater area so that sunlight's not as intense. Okay, then you would, on your piece of paper, you're actually drawing a picture of what that sunlight looks like in this blue box, how it is very angled. That's what your picture would look like. And then I'm going to drag this to September 22nd. There you go. You can see it's less angled. It's their first day of spring. The sunlight's getting a little bit more concentrated. So it's a little less angled. So you're going to draw a picture right now of this box with the blue sky. You're going to draw a picture of the angle of that sunlight. And then December 21st. There you go. Notice now when I've drug it to December 21st, their first day of summer, notice that sunlight is almost vertically overhead, not quite, but it is more direct, more intense, more concentrated. So that explains why it's hotter. So you'll draw a picture of that almost up and down arrows. And then March 21st. Back just a tad, there we go. And then you can see just a little slight angle for their first day of fall. And kind of neat, you can actually hit this little start animation and you can kind of see it all happening at once. So I'll hit that for a minute. You can kind of see how it changes over the course of the entire year. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Going back to haiku. Almost done here. Part 4, this is to find the average temperatures. search box, you're just going to type in the name of the city. Oops, you can see mine kind of popped up, Santiago, Chile. Did I get it? Oh, then you kind of have to pick the one that's the closest one you want. And obviously for us, it's the bottom one. Okay, average temperature, which is right here. Now, they don't have it by an exact day, but we're going to go by month. We're going to use Fahrenheit. So for June, average temperature in June is 48 degrees. Write that down. Then for September, 53 degrees. Go ahead and write that down. And then for December, 67 degrees. Write that down. And then for March, 65. Write that down. Okay, this particular website you can use your iPad to do. Okay, so you're going to use those 4 links for all the 4 remaining cities to collect your data. There is a place to also do a line graph. You'll have 1 line for each of your 5 cities, so I should see a line graph with 5 lines on it. You're going to want to label your X and your Y axis. Just a little hint on the X axis, which is at the bottom, you're going to want to put your dates. And then on your Y axis, up and down, you're going to want to put the temperature in Fahrenheit. Okay? If you need any help with that, see me when I get back. I can help you out. Okay, and the final thing would be, you can see right here, on the back of that paper, you would write a paragraph explaining at least 3 things you learned from this activity. This should be written in paragraph form using complete sentences. Definitely want you to try to make some connections and really look at that data and say, what's this data telling me? What is it teaching me? What can I learn from this data? Okay, so take some time to kind of process that and write a paragraph. Your extra credit will be worth a total of 12 points. It will be due, let's see here, Monday, Wednesday. Okay, it will be due on Friday for your class. So you'll get a week to complete it. I'm expected to be back to school tomorrow. So if you have any questions, stop by, or you can ask me in class on Wednesday. I will be there, but it will be due on Friday. I hope you have a good day and be good for the sub today. See ya. Bye-bye.